Welcome! If you didn't catch last year's video, you can go watch that. It covers the first batch of things that I made. So this year I'm hoping to really pad it out. I don't know if it will be done in here by the end of this year, but I'm hoping to at least have it in a place where every angle that I look in this room, there's over the garden wall themed fall decorations. So that's the goal. Very exciting stuff. I don't yet know what I'm going to be making. We should figure that out. Okay. The big project for this year, or at least what's going to be the most time intensive, is painting these houses. Midway into working on things, I found these at the store and I thought, okay, let's just buy these and I can paint them up. It'll be no big deal. Thankfully, I listened to the little voice inside my head that tells me when I bit off more than I could chew. I don't always listen to that voice, and my better judgment did tell me to just paint these flat black last year and just make sure that they were primed for this year. Okay, so I'm gonna have a think about some new things to add to this lovely little collection. We will talk very soon. So for the houses, I decided that the 4 I'd be making would be the schoolhouse, Endicott's mansion, either the tavern or the mill, and Adelaide's cottage. Then I also had this candy bowl that I got from Target last year, and I thought it'd be easy to just sand that down and repaint the face to look more like the Enoch cat, which, speaking of, there's the little Enoch cat for on the top of my pumpkin. I came up with wanting to do some kind of vase, and I figured the molasses jug would be kind of a perfect little simple project to make a vase out of. Then I decided I should do a garland for the other set of windows that I have over in the dining room, but instead of doing the Pottsfield pumpkins this year, I think I want to make them all gravestones or headstones. And finally, if I have time, there are these cat beds for Weasley and Beatrice that I think would just be cute to make some kind of fall themed covers for. I'd like them to be kind of a patchwork of different fabrics, which I think will be easy to get from the thrift store. I'll do an orange palette for Weasley and a blue for little Miss Beatrice.
A bird's brain isn't big enough for cognizant speech.
Hey, what was that?
I mean, I'm just saying, you're weird.
From the craft store, and I had to go to Michael's because sadly Joann's is no longer. Thankfully, Michael's had like 50% off all their fall stuff when I went. I was looking for a wreath that I could maybe put around my lantern on the dining room table. I managed to find this garland that I think I'll use in place of a wreath. I'll just kind of wrap it around and tie it at the end. Also got a few bundles of fake leaves. This is what we'll use to fill out our garland. And a little bundle of fake Queen Anne's lace because I thought it looked like mashed potatoes.
Kind of bland.
So maybe we can use that for our molasses jug vase. I picked up this vase for a few dollars. Not anything I'm going to add designs to for this video, but just something to kind of bulk out the rest of my decorations. I also picked up this vase, which actually has really nice fake flowers in it, but I think the vase itself could be turned into something. It's kind of giving Kirkland's right now. I don't know exactly what I'm going to paint on it yet, but we can for sure change the color palette of the vase. Then I found this, which is just so perfect. I just knew I had to have it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it was too cute to pass up, so it had to come home with me. Was on the lookout for a growler for my molasses jug vase, and I found the absolute perfect one for just a few dollars. Also picked up a couple strands of fake foliage secondhand, which I think will be useful either for this vase or for another project. I also picked up a bunch of fabric from the thrift store, but I'll overlay the footage here because it is in the wash right now. now. This is your PSA to always wash fabric items from the thrift store. And the last thing I picked up was this really cute little ceramic house. I think it's supposed to be part of a Christmas village. The bay window kind of reminds me of Auntie Whisper's cottage. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with it, but it had to come home. And when I got it home, oh boy, I kind of had an existential crisis about this part of the project.
Are there more?
Yes, that's correct. I have even more to talk about before we can get to crafting. I picked up this little guy. It's kind of what I initially envisioned, and you know what isn't really what I wanted? Yeah, that's really my bad for impulse buying last year. I had a snap judgment that I wanted to make that project happen, ended up delaying that to this year, and unfortunately, for you and for me, I think I'm gonna delay it again.
Hey, dunce! This is dreadful!
These houses are fine. They're like so bubbly. Like the detail on these is kind of what I was more imagining, you know, a pre-made ceramic Christmas village that already has some texture in it. With these guys, I would have to paint on that texture or like sculpt it on, which just seems like way too much work, especially when those ceramic like ready-made Christmas houses are abundant at the thrift store. With these 4 that I had, I was limited to having to cherry pick which houses I wanted to design. Everything in me, my too much gene, is telling me that I should just paint them so that there's something to reveal at the end, but I don't want to waste my time and my paint for something that I'm not going to keep.
Oh, you're not the witless, simple-minded fool everybody takes you for.
And there is plenty for me to do, don't worry. You saw that I found some extra goodies at the thrift store that I wasn't expecting to find. So I think there's plenty of things for me to paint and to work on. And next year we can come back and truly work on them like a miniatures project. I want to fully deck out the village with little props and miniatures. I wanted to just give a little bit of insight as to my process when I'm thinking about these things and trying to decide how much time and energy I want to dedicate to each project. So we have just a few revisions, thinking this apple will go really nicely right next to the molasses jug vase as kind of a School Town Follies duo. Then we have our ugly brown vase. I'm thinking we're going to repaint as a ringing of the bell theme. The bell itself, maybe a couple little turtles.
We came here to burgle your turts.
No, it's not true.
We're still doing the headstone garland with the leaves I got from the craft store. Safe to say we'll definitely have time to make those little cat beds too. And now we can finally get started. For the molasses jug, I used kind of an enamel paint. It didn't give me quite as crisp lines as I wanted. It's just because the enamel paint is like a little bit liquid and kind of runny, but I just took my time. I used a reference off screen with some Gothic typeface, and then I kind of added a design around the lettering. I was really inspired by that one specific shot from the show where Beatrice is pretending to be stuck in the brambles so that Greg will free her. I don't know, something about these thorny branches with the berries on them is just so visceral to me. Started by giving the candy bowl and the vase a quick sanding, and then they both got a new paint job. I first used a white paint marker to block out my design and then added color over top. It was just a lot easier to work with and gave a lot more control than trying to mess with like teeny tiny paintbrushes for detail. So I think I've got everything I need to start sculpting my little cat Enoch topper for my pumpkin here. I think I do have to make him a little bit bigger to scale than what he is in the reference image, just because he is so very small. I'm just using air dry clay, the air dry clay that is actually left over from the bits I sculpted for last year's wreath. What does this frickin' cat look like again? I also did not consider how difficult it was going to be to sculpt with that's good, right? I do just struggle thinking in 3D. Like, so if something has a back to it, a side to it, a profile to it, I don't want to know about it. That's none of my business. He does look like Meowth right now. It is cracking quite a lot, and I really don't know if these little whisker bits are gonna stay on. I don't know how much it actually looks like Enoch. Just rough up inside the ear a little bit, add some little floofs inside the ear, possibly some little eyelids, and then I think we are done. I just didn't feel good about trying to stick on the arms without some kind of support, and I also thought it would make the arms a little easier to pose. So I made him just a really simple armature body, just some tinfoil and some wire.
Yes.
And then layered the clay on top of that. And I also kind of sat him inside a ring of cardboard. It kind of looks like he has a little floaty on. But I was trying to think of how I would attach him to the top of the pumpkin, because the pumpkin just has a hole in the top of it right now where I had to cut off the stem. Figured I'd just put him in this little cardboard ring, and then I just used some heavy duty hot glue and kind of stick him on there. And once he was all attached, I just had to paint him. Once I was done painting the cat, I did go ahead and cut these little strips of paper that I just painted and then kind of crinkled them up. I figured I could use them for the little bit of the top fabric of the balloon where the cat pops out of. They do kind of look like little strips of bacon. Hot glued them in place, although this did mean having to deal with a lot of hot glue strings, which is a sensory nightmare. I braved the elements and came out on the other side, mostly unscathed. If you'd like to make your very own garland, you will need fake leaves or flowers. These have to be the kind that are on a stem, and ideally ones that you can easily pull off. They should have a little hole. This is what's going to make it easy to disassemble them. I used 3 or 4 bundles for last year's garland and this year's garland, but it will depend on how big the bundles are, how long of a garland you're making, and also how full you want it to be of leaves. You also need some cardboard. I just recycled some boxes. Probably best if it's untreated, not waxy, doesn't have a coating on it. You'll need construction paper and scissors, some yarn, and if you're replicating this exactly how I made them, the weight of the yarn is kind of important. It needs to be a yarn that is thin enough that you can thread it through the bundles of leaves, but it also needs to be thick enough that once you thread everything on, it will hold it in place. If it's too thin or if it's like too waxy or smooth of a yarn, the leaves aren't going to stay in place with this method. They would just kind of like all fall and bundle up in big clumps because, you know, gravity. You'll need some paint. I just used acrylic paint and some paint brushes. If you have lots of art supplies handy, it's also kind of nice to have little little paint markers or paint pens. I just wouldn't recommend colored pencils or crayons. I tried to do that last year and it just wasn't opaque enough on top of the construction paper. And then optionally, some things that might be nice to have would be some pliers and an X-Acto blade. You're going to start out by cutting out whatever shapes from construction paper that you want. For this particular painting method, you want to probably use construction paper in a color that will give a good base or undertone to whatever you're painting on it, because essentially you're going to use the acrylic paint to just kind of dry brush over top the paper. You can cut out smaller shapes from the construction paper like I did for my pumpkins, but for my headstones I didn't need to cut out any additional shapes. So I thought it would be fun to go through how I came up with these different headstones. Fair warning, there's definitely going to be spoilers for this part, so if you have not watched Over the Garden Wall, I'm not sure why you clicked on this video if you haven't, but yeah, it's really great and you should go watch it. But if you don't want spoilers, definitely skip to the end of this section. So in episode 9, Greg is hiding in the cemetery behind a headstone that has Quincy Endicott's name on it. So that is strong evidence for the theory that all these supporting characters that Wirt and Greg come across in their journey are dead or in some kind of limbo state. We're not really sure. According to the making of book, the creators intentionally left it unknown, forgive the pun. But personally, I like the theory that they are all deceased, possibly buried in the same cemetery. That is supported by the wide range of clothing we have going on. But again, nothing is supposed to have definite historical accuracy, so the time periods I place characters in is just purely for fun. For the woodsman and his daughter, I got the name Anna from the wiki. I believe she is named that in one of the comic books that came out after the show aired. I'm not really taking those as canon for the purposes of this video. The woodsman's getup is roughly based on clothing from the 1850s. Knowing their backstory and knowing that the woodsman kind of doesn't want to accept what happened to his daughter, maybe her family just presumed her dead, like she was lost, and he died going out trying to search for her. For Miss Langtry and Jimmy Brown, I was inspired by 20th century headstones because Miss Langtry's hair and clothing is definitely supposed to be placed in the early 1900s. We don't ever get a first name for her, but I think I read somewhere that she's either based on or inspired by an early 20th century, actress. It seemed wrong to not give her a first name, so I'm not sure how these lovebirds met their untimely end. Maybe Jimmy really did run off to the circus and there was some kind of accident, but maybe he was presumed dead and Langtry, the lovesick lady that she is, died of a broken heart.
Oh, Jimmy Brown, why did you have to leave me so?
Lorna is surely inspired by Puritans of the late 1600s, and given there's an evil spirit possessing her, I think it's pretty fair to guess that maybe she was a victim of the Salem witch trials. Adelaide I just purely made up. Her sister Whispers is dressed in the same Puritan-style clothing as Lorna. I was trying to think, okay, what are the earliest known colonizers of North America? And the first thing I thought of was Roanoke. Perhaps Adelaide and Whispers really are some kind of spooky witches, and Adelaide is definitely the evil of the two. Maybe she is the reason that everyone in that Roanoke settlement mysteriously disappeared. I don't know, I'm just saying. For Marguerite and Endicott, Endicott is very much the 1770s. Marguerite is a little bit more vague in her outfit, so I placed her in the 1780s. My sister actually proposed the theory that Endicott went over pre-revolution to sell his tea, but because he is a loyalist to the English, maybe he was murdered? It could definitely explain his paranoia. I set his death date as the year of the Boston Tea Party just to be super on the nose. Now, how Marguerite Gray ended up in the Americas, I have no idea, beats me. Especially why would she be there post-revolution? I don't know, maybe she came over with the influx of French that came during the revolution for trade and to fight against the British. But since I didn't have a strong theory for her, I set her death date as the year of Bastille Day. She is a member of the aristocracy after all. And that is all of them. Now we need to turn these into a garland. When you're all done and you have your designs exactly how you want them, you'll glue them down on top of the cardboard with just like some tacky glue and a paintbrush. You'll cut around your shape either with scissors, or this is where you could optionally use an X-Acto blade. Then you can move on to your leaves or foliage, whatever you have. You can go ahead and start disassembling them. They'll either have like a little topper on the end of each stem. The stopper holds the leaves on the stem. This is usually only if like they're fancier or more expensive from the craft store, but they might not have a stopper at all, that you might just be able to yank them off the end. If they're being really stubborn or your hands just need a break, you can use a pair of pliers to do this. So congrats, you are now the owner of a big pile of fake leaves. You can do this however you want, chaotically or not. I preferred to sort and separate my piles. Being that pedantic is definitely optional, but I just found it a lot easier to string my garland that way and not have to redo anything. It's just like lazy math. It's really just kind of considering what you want the garland to look like, how you want things to look, how you want things to be spaced out. There's still one more thing you need to do before you can start stringing everything onto the yarn, and that is to prep your little cardboard pieces. You need to stab some holes in them. I just used a mechanical pencil for this. To make the threading process easier, I took my yarn and tied a little tiny piece of Scotch tape around the end of it. I tied it really, really tight and then snipped off the extra and basically created a little needle almost at the end. Or I guess it's kind of an aglet on a shoelace is basically what I made, just with tape.
The aglet.
Oh, that's what it's called!
If you don't want to do that, you can also just kind of shove the end of your yarn through each hole with a needle or something small enough to poke the end through. And then you will start the long, very meditative process of threading each item onto yarn. I took a leaf, threaded it on. Did that 3 more times, then took a cardboard piece, threaded it on, and just repeated that process a whole bunch more times. I hope this was helpful. I just really loved this method last year and I wanted to do it again, and so I thought I might as well share a little bit of how I did this. They just look so cool. It's a relatively cheap and easy project to work on, and the possibilities are endless as far as what kind of things you could make into a garland. So yeah, you could do this for fall, you could also do this for Christmas with some holly leaves, or you can make a spring or summer garland. The options are as infinite as your imagination.
I speak the truth, Auntie, I swear. In the basket.
You're in no shape to head into that snowstorm, young man. Here, eat more dirt. Thanks.
Oh, hi. Can I finish? I only filmed a detailed reveals of the stuff I made new for this year, so go back to last year's video if you want to check out details on how I made that stuff. But I'll insert here just kind of a general wide pan of how the entire room looks now with all the things combined into one. I really love that I picked this theme for my decorations because they work for Halloween and for fall. Just a quick shout out, thank you so much for over 200 followers. I really appreciate it. I know that I hardly ever post, so it does mean a lot to me that when I do make a video that I'm really passionate about, that people are interested in it and want to stick around. So thank you. It makes me feel a lot better knowing that there are other people out there that have the same interests that I do. And with that, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this nice autumn day. So again, thank you very much for watching. Happy autumn, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.